friends. I'm Texe. It's great to be with you again here from Power of Prophecy. Today we're going to be looking at what I think is one of the most important issues of our day. Recently we did a video that's available here at the ministry entitled Thunder Over Zion. You know, the Bible clearly shows that events are going to head up. I mean, we're going to have a culmination of apocalyptic type events in the Middle East, in the so-called Holy Land, in Israel in these last days. We're going to look today, though, at a secret society, an elite group of men. I believe they have grabbed hold of much of the finance, the commerce, the political rulerships of this world today, and they even have their grasp, almost a stranglehold, on most of the religious groups of today and the religions, including Christianity, unfortunately. These are men of the Illuminati. They are Jewish because there's no doubt the Bible talks about Jerusalem. Revelation 11 verse 8 calls Jerusalem Sodom and Egypt, a very wicked city in the last days. And yet their control extends throughout planet Earth. They have been using the United States as their proxy, because for many years they have sought to gain control of the United States, because even today, this is what is called the last great superpower on earth. To get their way, they must control the United States. With the United States, then the United Nations and all of the rest of the nations of the world, including, of course, the European community, will come under their sway. Now, the Bible, as I said, the Holy Bible, has the answers that we need to truly understand the plot and agenda of these men. But listen to what it says in Zechariah in terms of prophecy. God himself said these words. He says, "Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people." Trouble. And there never seems to be an end to the trouble in Israel, the trouble among the Jews. Then Isaiah 59 verse 8 talks, I believe, of the Illuminati, the Jewish Illuminati. It says, "The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace." The Bible says, when they shall say, "Peace, peace," then shall sudden destruction come upon them, and they shall not escape. The Apostle Paul wrote about that. A lot of people ask me, Texe, is there proof that there exists this secret elite, this Masonic influence in the world today? I'm convinced there is, and they themselves admit this in many of their most august writings. For example, Manly P. Hall, who was called by the Scottish Rite, that is the largest distribution magazine in the Freemasonry world. Manly P. Hall died a few years ago, but he wrote many books, and he was called in the Scottish Rite Journal, it was called the greatest Masonic scholar of the 20th century. Let me tell you what he wrote in one of his books. He talked about the Hegelian dialectic process, which is he called the universal motion. And basically he talked about the fact that the whole world is being psychically driven to its destiny. But listen what he says about the elite, the Illuminati, the high-level Masons, even beyond, you might say, the 33rd degree. He says there exists in the world today, and has existed for thousands of years, a body of enlightened humans united in what might be termed an order of the quest. Mr. Hall said it is composed of those whose intellectual and spiritual perceptions have revealed to them that civilization has a secret destiny. Manly P. Hall, of course, would know these things because, as I said, he was called the greatest Masonic scholar of the 20th century and was a 33-degree Mason. One of the classic books he wrote is entitled The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Many people wonder aloud today, Freemasonry, is it Jewish? Can we say that it is comprised almost virtually of Jews? Well, one thing is for sure, it is controlled, I believe, behind the scenes by high-level Jewish interest. Many, many years ago, from Chicago, Illinois, was a publication that came out called Women's Voice. And back in 1953, they had a feature article called the B'nai B'rith's Clause. Now, the B'nai B'rith is a Jewish Masonic lodge headquartered out of New York City, but with worldwide influence. In fact, even the Pope of Rome invited the B'nai B'rith members to the Vatican and met with them, and I have a picture of that. But notice also this headline in Women's Voice. It says, Freemasonry is jewelry. In other words, if you're a Freemason, you're likely to be a Jew. I've noticed as I've gone around the United States and visited many Masonic lodges and, of course, the House of the Temple of Washington, D.C., I've noticed that the prominence and the predominance of the Jewish six-pointed star, the Star of David that you see on the flag of Israel, it seems to be everywhere in Masonic lodges, and there's a reason for that. Here's an article from the CDL report some years ago. It said, Freemasonry is Jewish, say the Jews. So we're not talking about, defaming or slandering Jews. They say that this is true. In the book Anti-Semitism by Bernard Lazare, he says there were Kabbalistic Jews around the cradle of Freemasonry, as certain rites still in existence prove conclusively. They were at the very cradle, at the origins, at the beginning of Freemasonry. Now, Rabbi Isaac Wise, way back in 1855, had this to say. He stated, Freemasonry is a Jewish establishment whose history, grades, official appointments, passwords, and explanations are Jewish from beginning to end. So-called Masonic brother Rudolf Klein of the Grand Lodge of Saxony in Germany was asked about the Jewish rituals that are conducted in Masonic lodges. And he said, Jewish ritual is customary and valid in all Freemasonic lodges of the world. In the Jewish Tribune newspaper, way back in 1927 in the United States, we read, Freemasonry is based on Judaism. Eliminate the teachings of Judaism from the Masonic ritual, and what is left? In a French publication in 1928 called Le Symbolisme, it says the important duty of a Freemason must be to glorify the Jewish race. So over and over again we see that Judaism is Freemasonry. And this is very fascinating, is it not? Now, we go on to look at some other aspects of this. For example, in the New Age movement, it seems that the New Age movement's leaders also know about the Masonic context of Freemasonry. This is an excerpt from the book The Rays and the Initiations by Alice Bailey. Now, she's the founder of Lucis Trust, which is a combination name, by the way, of Lucifer and Isis. Lucis Trust. And her book, entitled The Rays and the Initiation, way back in 1960, one of the major New Age texts available at all New Age and occult bookstores. She on page 418, she states that the time has now come in preparation for the New Age for certain changes to be worked by Masons with spiritual understanding. She mentions the present Jewish color of Freemasonry. She says the Blue Lodge degrees, that's the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry, are entirely Jewish in phrasing and wording. She says even the higher degrees are permeated with Jewish names and words. Now, Alice Bailey, like her mentor, Helena Blavatsky, who wrote The Secret Doctrine and founded the Theosophy Society, was a co-Mason, a woman Mason. Now, this is from a book sent to me from Greece, and some of the Christians over in Greece have been exposing this. I'm sorry you can't read the Greek title of this book,